Hey everybody, welcome back to Mark the Point. I've got a little system here that I've seen play before, and I'm gonna do a little bit of tournament rendition of it. That's a little bit different, and maybe you haven't seen this style play. There's been a lot of people who like to play the come bet or the pass line with odds. It's suggested as one of the best type systems in the casino because it gives you your lowest edge. But that's where they come bet with max odds. However, you're vulnerable by playing that way because you're putting all your bets on one number and it has to roll two times. Let me give an example of why I don't like typically playing a come bet, or in this case, a pass line, either way. Let's just say you played it for $25. You placed a bet to come. The puck has to be on in order for you to make that bet. Okay. Otherwise, it's not a good bet. So the puck is on and you place a come bet in the middle of the table. Okay. Now, what has to happen in order for you to get paid is a number has to roll. Let's call it the six. The bet will travel to the six. Now, sometimes the dealers say, do you want to put odds? And typically on most casino tables, it's three times odds, which is three times your flat bet, three times, four times, five times. Okay, three times on the 4 and 10, four times the 5 and 9, and then five times the 6 and 8, which means you can go to up to five times odds on that 25. The problem with this is you have to hit that bet twice in order to get paid, versus playing a box number, meaning I have to hit that six again in order to get paid. In this case, I only get paid even odds and not a odds of a box. Okay. So the idea that I have here is a little bit different, right? But one benefit you do have with playing a come bet is on the come out roll. In this case, the puck is set, but it's a come out roll for that come bet. On a 7 or 11, just like a pass line, a 7-11 you'll win, but a 2, 3, or 12 you lose. However, this is what I was thinking about. So the idea here is we're going to put bets across the board. Okay. Now you can do this on any way you want to. You can do this on just on the inside. You can do this just on the 6 and 8. You can do this all the way across. In this case, I have 160 across. You would be playing the 4 and 10. You'd have to pay the VIG, either post VIG, pre VIG, either way. But the idea here is if you place a come bet right now, once the point is established, it's done. Now you don't have to wait two times to get paid something, right? An example of that, let's just say the six rolls. Okay. What will happen is you'll get the come will technically travel, right? It'll go to the inside of the six. That $30 bet will pay me $35. Okay. And the idea that we're going to do here is we're going to use this place bet as odds. So now you'll have odds on your six. You're going to replace the come bet and you're getting paid a little bit back to your rack. Not a whole lot, but it's something, right? It's better than nothing. But the good news is if you hit that six again, best case scenario, if you hit the six again, of course you already have $10 back into your rack. But what will happen here is you'll get paid 25 for your flat bet and you'll get paid 36 in odds because remember the odds are true odds when you have odds. Okay, you get paid 36, which means if you pull all this back into your rack, look here, you have 75, 115 plus that's $125 going back to your rack as profit. Okay, now you are not out of the hand because remember you started with 160 plus a $25 come bet. However, if you do hit the second number twice, that's in pretty good shape for the hand. But there's a lot of times where you don't have that happen, where it takes multiple hits to be able to get to a second hit. The example of that, let's just say we had our odds on our six. Now let's just say the next roll, and let's not forget about our come bet. Okay. Now let's just say the next roll is a five. Okay. What will happen here is this will travel to the five. You'll get paid 35 as your place bet. We're going to replace our come bet. We're going to go ahead and put odds there and just put a little bit back into the rack. Not a lot, but it's totally up to you how many or how much odds you want to put. Now the 5 and 9 is a little bit different. You notice we did $30 on the six. You do that same thing on the eight. On the 5 and 9, you want to make sure your odds are an even number. In this case, you don't want to do 25 because they'll short pay you. In this case, you could do $30 and that'll pay you $45 and down basically. Okay, so that's how that payment worked. So essentially all this here will come back. Let's not forget our flat bet. And all this would come back to your rack. Okay, you would, well, not steadily back to your rack, but you would place your come bet and you'd go back out there for $30 if it hit the 5 again, and now you have your odds bet there for you. The 4 and 10 are a little bit different. Okay, so let me show you how the 4 and 10 will work. Let's pull some of these bets back just so I don't want to show any kind of confusion here. Now, let's just say we have a come bet, okay, and a 4 is rolled. What's going to happen is this bet will travel to the 4 as a come bet. Now that bet there will pay me 50. You'd have to pay a vig. It will pay me 50, okay? But what's going to happen here is that $50 or $25 will come as a odds bet. You're going to replace the come bet, and you can put $25 back into your rack. So remember, the base bet would pay you 50. The come bet would travel. Let's put half of those odds on the 4 and put the rest of it into the rack. Now, a lot of people make that argument. Why aren't you doing the full odds 3 times, 4 times, or max odds, or however you want to call it? And you absolutely can. I'm not saying that you can't. I just find it very difficult to put. And when you're playing multiple come bets, if you could have the entire inside 3 or 4 hits, and you could have almost $400 of odds out there, the 7 rolls, and you lose everything. It's very high risk. I would personally only suggest playing max odds if you're only doing 1 to 2 bets. Maybe it's just a pass line and a come bet. I would not play 4 times, 5 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times odds on multiple come bets across the board because you're exposing a lot of money out there, and you may never get that second hit, third hit, or whatever, or even the first hit on a multiple number. Okay, guys, I'm gonna roll this out. We're gonna see kind of how we do if we can make some money. I hope I've kind of explained it a little bit. If not, I'm going to roll it out, maybe try to explain it a little bit more how we're going to do this. But let's roll it out and see how we do. Here we go. Here's some live rolls. All right, here we go. We have a $1,000 bankroll, to set up. Again, 160 across, maybe a little light if you want to call 10 shooters, which I don't necessarily like, but $1,000. Let's see how we do. We are going to get a point established first. First thing we're going to do. And here, oh, drop the dice. And here we go. Okay, it's going to be on the 5. That is the pair in the tray, guys. That is the waitress. Let's mark the point on the 5. And I'm going to drop down $160. Remember, it would be $162 if you have a casino that will require a vig up front. Otherwise, it'll just be $160. Oh, drop that quarter. And so let's go ahead and set that up here. And then we are going to place $25 on the come bet. Remember, you cannot place the come bet until the point is established. Otherwise, you're just playing a pass line bet. All right, here we go, guys. We got it all set up. 160 across with a come bet. And here we go. And that is a 10, the 6-4 Big Ben. Okay, perfect. So what's going to happen is the come bet will travel to the 10. That $25 bet, which is a place bet, will pay me 50. Okay, it'll pay me 50. I'm going to put $25 back in the come. I'm going to put $25 back into the rack, and then that 25 will be my odds. Okay, and here we go. There's a 5, the 4, 1. Perfect. That's our point. Okay, so what will happen here is this will travel to the 5. I will get paid $35 for that bet. I'm going to put $30 in odds. Okay, I did want to mention this just for a second. I'm going to put this back just to the side for now because the reason being is you do not want to you can't place a come bet when the puck is off. Now the puck is off. There is no come bet. That's technically now a pass line bet. Okay. However, you also have another option here of do you want to work your bets, or in this case your odds, because the 4 right now, the 4 and 5 are contract bets. When it's a come bet and it's established, it's now a contract bet, which means it's always working. However, your odds does not have to work. You cannot, or you can ask to say, I don't want to work my odds. However, I personally don't want to have that bet out there and not get paid if it happens. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to work my odds bets. My place bets can be off. I'm okay with that. But I want my odds bets to work for me when they play out. So here we go. Let's see how this rolls out. And that's going to be the 5. Perfect. That worked out great in my favor. Okay. Because what's going to happen is, remember, that'll pay 25 for the flat bet, and it'll pay me 45, and it'll pay me 45 for the odds. And so what's going to happen, all this will come back to the rack. And if I want to go ahead and go out there for $25, put the 20, because this will technically all come down. I'm going to put $25 back as my place bet and get ready for the come bet to start reestablishing again. So let's put these bets here. I'm getting my come bet now set, my odds on my 4. All these are still place bets now, and we are ready to go. The 5 is the point, and let's make it happen. There's a 10 back on the 10. How about that? It's the hard 10 this time. Perfect. So this will travel. That 25 will get paid 25, and it'll get paid 50 in the back. All this will come back to the rack. 25 will replace the come bet. And let's make sure we leave our odds there. 75 is technically coming back to your rack. All right, and here we go. And that's the 9, the 6-3 center field 9. That's perfect. So this will travel. It's going to pay us 35 for our place bet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put odds at 30, replace the come bet, put a little bit of change back into the rack. And now we have 2 set here, which is our 9 and our 10. And looking good so far. Here we go. And there's a 4-1 back on the 5 again. Perfect. Okay, so again, this will travel up. That'll pay me 35. I'm you know what? Let's go ahead and make it look like 30 here. I'm not going to put my comeback out there yet because the puck is off. I'm just going to put it back into the rack. Again, I'm going to have my odds working, my odds, and of course your comeback is always working. My place bets are off. This can be on the 4, Big Joe. No help to me. Let's mark the 4. Man, remember my place bets are off. I'm not worried about that. And here we go back out there for a comeback. Let's go. Ooh, scattered all the way across the table. It is going to be a 4-2-6. That's the easy 6. Okay, so what's going to happen? This will travel. That'll pay me 35. I'm going to make it look like 30, so I'm basically just going to use my place bet as my odds. I'm going to rack this here. That goes into the come, and now we're ready for our next bet. Let's go. That is a 9. Beautiful center field. Now, I can hear the argument already. If I was playing these at max odds, I would be getting paid a lot more. And I 100% agree with you. However, look how many bets we have out there. If I was playing each one of these at max odds, I'd have a ton of money at risk just for the big red to come out, right? Okay, let's go and get paid here. So that's going to pay me 25 there. It'll pay me 40. What I'll do is I'm going to do 50 for 10 just to make it easier on me with my red chips. Now, I've already got a comeback here. I've got a comeback here. So basically, I'm just going to leave that there, bring that $75 back to the rack. The come would travel, it would go down. Either way, right now, that's kind of how it's set up, and it would work. It would just be off and on. And there's a 6, another beautiful hit. Perfect. Okay, 4-2 in this case. That'll pay me 25 there, and it'll pay me 36 here. And so what I'm going to do is go ahead and pay that out. I'm trying to think of how that would work. Again, that's the same thing, right? Up and on, up and down. That is 36. And I think I probably paid myself 35 a while ago when I should have paid myself 36 because I should have another quarter here in the rack. So, or another single in the rack because I think I already hit that 6 once. Either way, that's fine. It is what it is. All right, here we go, guys. Let's go ahead and try this over again. And that is a 5-4-9. We've hit the 9 again. That's perfect, right? 25. That'll pay me good. Do it 50 for 10 for me. 50 for 10. Then that $75 is going to come back to the rack just like that. And there's another 9. My gracious, we're hitting the 9 is hot. I'm just call it 75 for 10. That's the easiest way to do it. That pays everything like it's supposed to. Pulls that back. And this goes back into the rack. Everything's up and on, off and off, whatever you want to call it. And here we go. Let's grab a few more greens. There we go. Come on, shooter. And there's a 5. My gosh, what a roll we have here. Okay, perfect. That's going to be the waitress there. Now that pay me, again, 25. I still do it again. Let's do it 75. It's the exact same thing as the 9. The comeback would travel. These are all payout and resolve. Let's go at 75 for 10. Everything's up and down. Everything's good to go. And we are ready to keep rolling. Here we go. Let's go, shooter. There's boxcars 12. Now that will lose my comeback. So let's pull that out and replace it. That's all right. And there's your 7. Okay, that's all right. Here we go. Here's what's going to happen. We will lose all these bets here in the back. Okay, we are going to get paid on our 7, which is our comeback. But everything here does fall. That's all right. That was a good run. For a good first run. Can't complain about that. Let's put these bets back into the rack. And I think I shorted myself one time on that 6 at $1, which would pay you 36 versus 35. Okay, that's going to be a 3 craps 3. It does not matter to me because the puck is off. That's going to be the 5-1-6. Okay, let's mark the point on the 6. Okay, drop down 160. We are in profit, which is very, very nice to see. I can already tell you that. And so let's drop these down. We're going to go 160 across. We're going to do a $25 come bet. And we are ready to roll. Let's go. Let's go, shooter. Okay, that's the 5, the 4, 1, no field. Okay, perfect. So that'll travel to the 5. That will pay me $35. I'm 35, not 50. That'll pay me $35. I'm gonna put $30 in odds. So let's go ahead and make it look like that right there. $35 in odds, $25 back into the come, and we are ready to keep rolling. Here we go. There's aces. Gosh, that's not gonna help me out. So we're gonna lose our come bet. Okay, replace it back out. It's all right. And there's the 5, 2, 7. Ooh, that one's ugly. That's more like what it looks like on the craps table, right? 1 or 2 rolls and you're done. In this case, the same scenario, right? So let's pull all these bets back. Not too helpful there. Let's turn the puck off. We'll get paid on our come bet. Those come down. Let's get another point established. Here we go. Okay, it's going to be the 4, the 3, 1, Big Joe. Mark the point on the 4. We are going to go 160 across. Let's grab another quarter. Grab our reds. Now we straighten these up a little bit. All right, remember it would be 162 if you're East Coast or require a vig. A lot of your casinos on like a boat, like a Carnival cruise or something like that, they all charge vigs up front. And that's a 10 big bin down there on the end. All right, perfect. So this will travel to the 10. That'll pay me $50. Excuse me. That'll pay me 50. I'm gonna put $25 in odds. I'm gonna put that come bet back out and rack a quarter. Okay. And that's a 314. That is our point. Okay, perfect. So that's going to pay me $50 here. This will travel, right? So I'm going to put $25 there. I'll put $25 back into my rack, and I'm going to save that $25 because that's going to be my come bet once the puck is established. My bets are working on my come bets and odds are working. My place bets are not. Okay. That's a 9, the 5, 4 center field. Let's mark the point on the 9, and here we go. 4 back on the 4. Beautiful. Actually, I didn't put my come bet out. Let's do it. We're gonna do a post bet here, just because it is an illustration. Post bet. That's all right. So what's gonna happen here is this will technically travel just like that, right? Just want to show it to roll out. This will travel. They'll pay this 25 and 50, which is technically $100. This will come down. That $25 will come back to the rack or go back into the come. That'll go back to the rack, and you're good to go. Let's actually go ahead and make sure we put our $25 for our odds. And now we're ready. That's going to be 3 craps, 3, another field, or sorry, another come loser. I'm usually saying field. In this case, it's a come bet, another come loser. Okay, perfect. That's the 5, the 4, 1. All right, here we go. So that'll travel to the 5. That will pay me $35. I'm going to use 30 of it in odds. Let's do it here. Let's just make it look like that. This will go back to the rack, or let's go back to the come bet. This will go back to the rack. And there we go. And there is the 4, 3, 7. Okay, we got a few hits out of it. Not too bad. Again, the goal is to try to get some kind of a repeater out of it. In this case, looks like we got 1 of them. Either way, we're good to go. This will come back to the rack. We are still in profit, which is always good, always promising, right? Let's turn the puck off, and let's do it again. Here we go. Okay, that's going to be the hard 10. Let's mark the point on the 10. Again, let's drop down another 160. All right, set up just like this right here. And we are ready to roll. Let's go. Oh, $25 in the come. And now we're ready to roll. There's a square pair. That is the hard 8. Okay, perfect. So this will come to the 8. That'll pay me $35. I'm just going to make that look like odds in the back. I'm going to put the $25 back in the come. And this here comes back to the rack, which is $10. Okay, perfect. That's a 6 to 5, 1. We're about to do the exact same thing. Okay, so this will come here. That'll go as odds. It will pay me $35. $25 goes back to the come. $10 comes back to the rack, just like that. Like clockwork sometimes, right? And there's a 3, another loser as a come bet. Let's pull the 3. Put that out there. Come on, shooter. And there's a 4, Big Joe, 3, 1. Okay, perfect. So that's going to travel to the back. That'll pay me $50 and $50 for the place bet. What I'm gonna do is make it look like 25 and put 25 back into the rack. Oh, here we go. That back into the rack. All right, let's go, shooter. And there is the 7. Ah, gosh. Okay, let's see how we did here. I said that was the last shooter. We would pay the comeback here. And let's see how we ended up doing. I could tell that we're probably as close to break even as you could possibly be. It looks like if I was to guess, we're up probably 30 bucks, okay? 35 bucks as a guess, right? So we started with 1,000. Let's see, let's move all this to the side. Started with 1,000. We know that's 500. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is not quite 500. I can tell that. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 475. So that's 500. So that's our starting bankroll. That is $1,000, right? So we are up a little bit more than I thought, which isn't bad. 100 or 25, 50, 75, 85. We're up 85. Let's call it 86. Call it $86. Not too bad for a few short rolls. We had one really good roll at the very first, and then 2 or 3 really short rolls. I can imagine we probably lost a little bit of money on those last 2 rolls just because we didn't have enough repeaters. Now, I know we did win money here on this system. I personally am not a fan of the come bet with odds. I do like just playing box numbers. I'm typically not this style player, but some people like it. And I want to try to be able to provide content for people who do like these type systems to give you opportunity, to give you different ways of playing. That is the goal here, to teach you a little bit of how to play different ways to play craps. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed the content. If you haven't already subscribed, I do roll out weekly videos. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Until next time, mark the point and stay awesome.